Hey guys, Danny Green here, and I don't usually post videos on Thursdays, but I thought this would be a good time to do a little something. We're not going to do a teaching today. I will do that tomorrow, but yeah, it will be recorded tomorrow and uploaded tomorrow, but it'll be published on Saturday. So you won't see anything today, but this kind of thing, this is going to be public. And it's not going to be a message. I'm just going to I'm going to pose kind of like a challenge to you guys, and there's no right or wrong answer here because I don't think we even really know this type of thing. But it's been something I've been pondering. I would say, well, I have pondered it on and off ever since it's been brought up. It was brought up a couple of years ago, probably maybe 3-4 years ago. It's been a while, by a friend of mine in Florida, and he had said, actually, let me take you straight to the source, straight to the question, so that we can get a perspective on it. But this is Genesis. We're going to go straight to the beginning of time, and Genesis 1. And I think we only need to really look at one verse to get to the heart of this. I don't. There's not really that much. I don't want to say but that much required. We can always dig into the Bible as much as we choose to. And but if you look at okay, so I'll actually read the first two verses in Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Now that's the New King James Version. So obviously, different versions are going to say different things. Some are probably just going to say like the Spirit of the Lord was hovering over the face of the was hovering over the waters. It could be phrased a few different ways, of course, with different translations. But what I find very interesting about that, though, is that this is the first two verses in Genesis, and then Genesis 3 says, "Then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." And so, if we look at that, the waters were actually here while the earth was still void of anything. It was still empty. So when did God create the waters? I mean, obviously they had to have gotten here somehow. They couldn't have been here just out of nothing, So I'm just kind of curious as to what you guys might say. I've just been thinking about this, and I don't know really what to think about it, because we can't think about, or we can't fathom. We can think about it, but we can't really fathom what the world was like when it was all darkness. But I find it interesting that the waters were there. So when did the waters come in? That's just what I just want to wrestle with that a little bit. And I think every once in a while I might just pose a question for you guys to think about if I come up with something. There's another one that I can do maybe for another time. And there's this other one that I have in mind, actually, is something that I have more of an idea of my answer to it. So I will say this, I may actually share this when I let you know, when I get an answer, because I submitted that question to where did the water come from? If it was already here before God created the universe, then when did the water come to be? Because it too had to have some type of beginning. So what I I'm sure I'm going to get a response from Got Questions Ministries because I wrote them this afternoon. Yeah, I don't know when it was, but it was early this afternoon. And I have always gotten responses from them every time I've written to them. So if you guys ever want to write to them, that's Got Questions Ministries, and they answer. They have answers to a lot of biblical questions, and they actually do answer you. At least for me, they've gotten back to me every single time I've ever written them, and I would say that this is probably at least the fifth time I've done it. So I don't write them often, but when I do, I try to make sure that it's not just a everyday question, that it's something that would be a little bit challenging and new too, because a lot of times sometimes it says that over 80% of questions, or around 80% of questions, can be answered just by reading their articles, and that's because they've answered so many questions over the years. So, but I think this is a good one, and I would like your thoughts on it. And there's not going to be any right or wrong answer. So just go ahead and answer that when you get a chance, and if you feel led, of course. Again, this might be something I do every so often. I was having problems until last week. I couldn't for about a week upload my videos because they weren't processing. So this is a good way to make sure that everything is still working for Friday too. So I don't know, maybe I will go ahead and maybe try to come up with a question though every so often, just for us to kind of all ponder together. I think that might be good, because these kinds of questions that we ponder, they're good to kind of go deeper into our faith, rather than just when we're considering something biblical, you never know what that's gonna lead to. And I think that to ask questions like this is that can be kind of challenging, or maybe not make a whole lot of sense right off the bat. I think it only strengthens our faith. So I hope you guys will answer this, and whenever you get a chance to watch this video, and I will see you guys in a couple of days. God bless you guys. Love you guys.